Hi, this time I'm going to talk about character sheet and mapping economy of movement. A lot of you that are into martial arts, and even some of you that have read fantasy novels, you know how overused this term of economy of movement has been applied. It's so overused. I think the culprit of this is Bruce Lee, because in his books he constantly mentioned economy of movement because this is very important for a real fight. You don't want to miss a single second because combat is so alive and unpredictable that fraction of a second could be the end of the fight if it's a life or death situation. So when it comes to economy of movement in character sheets, mapping, this could be the life of the immersion, or rather the life of the roleplay, is in danger if you do not apply this economy of movement. What do I mean by that? In this case, like I said, character sheets and maps that you are creating during the adventure, I don't think that you should rush things. You should take things when it comes to your own pace. But for those of you that want to perfect their roleplay and achieve greater immersion, I'm going to give you a great example on how this is handled. In my actual play, I'm going to be using my actual play for many examples from now on, my actual plays. In my actual play, you can see C4 Crispy and Runwise. No, Runwise, sorry. Killian. Runwise is one of my viewers. I think I related it because Runwise was asking me something related to that a few days ago. Well, Killian and Esben, the players, C4 Crispy and Full Metal State, they were mapping the environment as I described it. I think there are so many misconceptions when it comes to a simulationist dungeon crawl style of gaming. It's understandable because there are those that speak against the simulationist style and against fantasy and dungeon crawling in general. They have little to no experience. It is verified time and again as they try to explain Dungeons and Dragons. They get so many things wrong. So it is obvious that they haven't played a good dungeon crawl. They have no idea whatsoever. And when it comes to simulationist games, I hope they break away from those misconceptions. But you can see in my actual play, typical Dungeons and Dragons style dungeon crawl, both Full Metal State and C4 Crispy, they were mapping things as I described them. They were not waiting for me to finish the description as I was describing the rooms. And of course, as a game master, you don't want to speak really fast talking about you enter this room. It's a huge chamber. The ceiling is 60 feet above ground. The width of the room is 50 feet, 70 feet deep. So that gives time for the players to draw their diagrams, their maps. They do not waste time, and so game proceeds smoothly. I think there was only a minor instance when they had to write a few details before actually talking, but it was just once in the entire session, and it was like 4 seconds at most. 4 seconds. And when it comes to the character sheet, because in a simulationist game, and depending on the complexity of the game, you need to keep track of certain things. How many torches, how many arrows or bullets, how many healing potions do you have left, your spell points. All of that, it's all vital information for the survival of the group. Unless you're playing suicidal, you want your character to survive, especially in a campaign, in order to level up and develop the skills, the powers of your character. So when it comes to the character sheet and bookkeeping, try to figure out that information as soon as it happens. I light a torch to see what's in front of me. And you're right, as the game master starts to describe what your character is seeing, you start to write that on your character sheet. Maybe just make a small mark if you want. If you want to pay full attention, maybe you have trouble multitasking, just like make a small mark next to the torch while the game master is describing the situation, and when there is something else happening, another player character taking his or her actions, or describing the character's actions, or the game master giving some other details, that you can not be too focused on them, some regular information, and then you can erase and write things down. The moment your character takes a hit, a lot of players also like to keep track of the wounds, like making small lines or writing down the number on a small piece of paper. That's also possible, but the point is that you should do everything in your power to minimize not to disrupt roleplay, because you are taking a lot of time making notes. As the game master is describing the situation, make those notes, draw those maps. As you are using resources, write that down after you finish describing things, or if you are able, that's actually a really good skill, and I think it enhances intelligence. There are many exercises to strengthen your brain. Like, for example, you can practice writing with both hands and at the same time also, and that's going to allow you to work with both hemispheres of the brain. You could practice that skill to enhance your intelligence. As you are describing your actions, write down or erase the resources that you are spending. It's all up to you. Like I said, these are just general tips, but I hope you will consider them. And like I said, if you want an example of how things proceed, how this is actually done, check out my actual play. Take a look at C4 Crispy and Full Metal State. They did an amazing job when it comes to keeping things in roleplay. Not once did they break out of character. Even when they felt like they were about to, they managed to use that energy to transmute it into actual roleplay, to transform it into the description of their characters, their characterization as well. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it was useful and entertaining, perhaps. If you have any other comments or questions or tips on how you can play, keep track of things with your character sheets or your maps, please let us know in the comment section below. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. And remember, it is better to roleplay and fail in character than not to roleplay and fail as a player. Once again, thank you and see you later.